Hello and welcome to Racers Now. We're just 6 days away from the richest horse race in the European racing calendar, the Arc de Triomphe at Paris on Sunday, the 6th of October. And there is 18 runners in contention at this 6-day stage, with one likely to be added on Tuesday, and we'll come on to her a little bit later. But the excitement is certainly building ahead of a massive day, let's be honest, at Longchamp. I think there's 2 Group 1s on Saturday, a further 4 or 5 on Sunday. There's too many Group 1s to lose count. And as always, the ground is always a contentious issue over in France. They just make it up as they go along, as far as I can see. And it's an ongoing issue with French racing for British fans, let's put it that way. Last year, it was officially described as good to soft. Yet a horse that has since become one of the most ground dependent horses in training, Rosalien, actually broke the course record in the Jean-Luc Lagardère for 2-year-olds in a race or on a track that was described as good to soft. So it clearly was not that. But if you look on Racing Post now, last year's ARC 2023 was described as good to soft. Track records were being broken, so it certainly wasn't good to soft. It's currently described as soft at Paris Longchamp. But the key to the discussion around the ground and the forecast is the apparent dry week, which is forecast this week. There is some uncertainty in the forecast, showers, etc., etc. We're in late September, early October. There's no surprises there. But yeah, the main takeout is that it looks like it's going to be a dry-ish week, and they're currently described as soft, so could be on the good side as soft come the weekend, hopefully, because we don't want it to be a quagmire, which it has been on a couple of occasions in the last decade at Longchamp. But yeah, that drying ground brings in 2 horses to the conversation, really. Firstly and chiefly, Auguste Rodin. We didn't expect him to be running in the Arc. He has entered. He's remained entered in the race at the latest forfeit stage on Monday. There's forfeit stages throughout the week. Tuesday's the supplementary stage, etc. But yeah, as we know, Auguste Rodin, dual Derby winner from last year, Prince of Wales's stakes winner from this year, has to have fast ground. He was and is intended to go all the way to Japan for the Japan Cup for his final start. But as a result of the apparent dry forecast in and around Paris, he could turn up at the Arc this year. And Aidan O'Brien said that it was a mistake that he was taken out of the Arc at a similar stage last year, 5 or 6 days to go, on account that they expected the ground to be soft. And as we've already discussed, it was no way near soft on the day. And Auguste Rodin, as a 3-year-old last year, would have had a cracking chance on that quick ground, but did not run. So they are not going to make the same mistake twice. But it does look unlikely at this stage that he will run, but he has entered the conversation nonetheless. And the other chief benefactor from quicker ground, and very much would need to be on the quick side to be seen at his best, would be Japan's Shin. The faster, the better for him. He was 3rd in the Irish Champion Stakes a couple of weeks ago, really eye-catching. They said that was a prep for the Arc, and a race that, as we know, the Japan contingent have long been trying to win and come close on many occasions. You don't need me to tell you the history there. But will it be quick ground suitable for those 2 horses? Shin, I think, will run anyway, but will it be quick enough for Auguste Rodin to run? I just can't see it. Given it's soft as we speak, as I mentioned, and obviously we're no longer in the height of the summer. Tuesday is the supplementary stage where we're expecting connections of Blue Stocking. Juddmonte, they've got plenty of money. They're expected to be stumping up. I think it's in the region of €120,000. Massive supplementary fee. She won the Prix Vermeil or Vermeil over course and distance at Longchamp a few weeks ago. That was a Group 1 in its own right. She's won 2 Group 1s this year against her own sex. She's tried against the boys a couple of times. She was 4th in the Juddmonte International, and now she's going to try against the boys and the best around from Europe and beyond, probably in the Arc on Sunday. Blue Stocking's a 12-1 shot. I would have probably wrote off her chances a couple of weeks ago when myself and Hump discussed the Arc in detail, but I think the overriding feeling about this year is it's a very open year. There's no standout stars. There's a few stars missing and not running in the Arc. So it's pretty open. Blue Stocking at 12-1. I can see why she would be interesting to some. She gets the allowances for being a filly, but a 4-year-old now rather than 3. So yeah, an interesting run at Blue Stocking. She has raced against the boys, most recently in the Juddmonte, and basically got no way near winning that, let's be honest. But not a whole lot has changed since we looked at the market a couple of weeks ago, or last week with Hump. Sosi and Luc de Vega, sorry, the French 3-year-olds who were first and third in the Niel, the trial for this race, are first and second in the market. And I've looked again at the Niel today in detail, really, and I've just got to question it overall. Should that race be determining the top 2 in the market and the top 3 of the top 5 in the market for the richest race, the biggest race in the French calendar, etc., etc.? Not for me. I mean, like I say, Sosi, however you want to say it, Luc de Vega and Delius had all been off over 2 months. Luc de Vega had been off over 100 days, actually, and the other two off 62 days, I think it was. Going into that Niel, very much treated it as a trial. It looked like a trial. It smelt like a trial. It barked like a trial. I mean, none of those 3 were whipped at all in the race, not once. And it was the slowest time of the 3 trials ran over course and distance on the day. The Niel for 3-year-old boys, the Vimai for ladies, and the Foy for older horses. That has been pretty pointless over the last few years, the Foy. But yeah, those 3 trials ran over course and distance on the same day, same ground, same conditions, same distance, and the Niel was the slowest of those 3. They just had a bit of a trot round. Like I say, none of them were whipped. Luc de Vega and his first try over that distance, 12 furlongs, went backwards very quickly towards the end. They've got form well matched with each other, Sosi and Luc de Vega particularly. Delius comes in against Sosi on some form lines as well. I don't really know what to make of it. Plus, none of them 3, and again, they're 3 of the top 5 in the market. They're all 3-year-olds, leading contenders from France. They've never raced outside of their own age group. I mean, and other than beating each other, they've met a handful of times between each other. Sosi and Luc de Vega bring the form from the French Derby, etc. Other than beating each other, how has that French Derby form really worked out? I mean, 4th in that race was Ghostwriter. He's done okay since, don't get me wrong, but he's not come close to winning a Group 1. Has Ghostwriter, let's be honest about it. And the other French horses, other than the 3 mentioned, that Delius didn't run in the French Derby, but other than Sosi and Luc de Vega, we've mentioned Ghostwriter, all of the rest, most of them French, have done absolutely bugger all since. Diego Velasquez was well down the field. Yes, he's come back to form towards the back end of the season, but over shorter trips. I'm questioning the French Derby form, and I'm just questioning the Niel as a race itself. Looked like a practice gallop to me, and like I say, not one of them whipped at all or extended. They might have been out of shape. They'd all been off 2 months or more, 3 months in Luc de Vega's case. Yes, could they improve? Yeah, I mean, they should improve. They will improve. But even if they do improve for fitness since the Niel, all 3 of them, they've still got to go some way to match the proven form of others. And it's not a vintage year, this arc. And I'm going to tell you why in a moment, but it's not a vintage year. But they've got to go some to against the likes of Shin Emperor, Al Rifa, and even Auguste Rodin if he runs. They're all proven in different countries, against different age groups, different trips, different tracks, etc., etc. These Luc de Vegas, Sosi, and Delius been out in France, beating each other, not faced any older horses yet. There's big question marks, and they're forming the top of the market, and I think they're well worth taking on. And as a result, I think there's value elsewhere. And also, as a result, and I can't tell you which, I can see this market, even though, the field is pretty much settled at the moment. Can't see, a question mark over Auguste Rodin. Will he run? Won't he run? But he's 20-1. I think he's the only one listed at the bottom of the screen that's scrolling at the moment that's going to change the market. Let's say Auguste Rodin doesn't run. Everything else looks set to run. It's 4-1 the field. I mean, I could see Los Angeles going off favourite, to be honest with you, particularly in the UK books when they latch on to him. UK punters don't know a lot about the Japanese form. They might question the Niel form like I am. I can see this market flip-flopping a bit towards the top, and who goes off favourite will be interesting. But yeah, I'm against the guys, the 3 that are coming from the Niel for the reasons given. They've got to prove their form against older horses, against international horses, etc. And you could make a strong argument that Los Angeles has the best form of any 3-year-old in the race anyway. I mean, he's run over different trips, Irish champion and eye-catching 4th last time. They said he was going to go there and finish 3rd or 4th as an ARC trial. He did just that. He's ran in the Epsom Derby. He's won the Irish Derby. So you could argue that Los Angeles has got the best form of any 3-year-old coming into this race, yet he is a bigger price than 2 of them, and a similar-ish price to Delius. Surely there's others in the race with better form in the book and more battle hardened. And we mentioned them earlier: Shin Emperor, Al Reefer, etc. Even Los Angeles. Sosi, look, De Vega might turn out to be world beaters, but on what we've seen so far, there needs to be question marks over him. You could have said the same about Ace Impact last year. Won the French Derby, had a quiet summer, won that Group 2 that Economics won this year, and then Wasdin in the Arc. But then he was hustled off to retirement. We've not seen him since. I'm not saying Sosi and Luc De Vega are as good as Ace Impact, but in a probably under par year, they might prove to be. But from what we've seen so far, you've got to look elsewhere, in my opinion. And also, while we're at it and while we're taking a dump on the Prix Niel, there hasn't been a winner of the Niel and the Arc in the same year since 2006. That was Rail Link, trained in France, as you would expect. Look, I'm not saying the French 3-year-olds can't win, but I'm in no mood to be backing them from what I've seen so far. To argue against myself, though, you could say that the market is looking this way due to it being a substandard renewal and somewhat of a little bit of a French resurgence in recent years. A couple of older horses won it in Sotsas and Wild Geese, but they've been performing better on not only on French soil, which they should be, but in previous years, the UK and Irish boys have been going over and mopping up all the French Group 1s. So they've been performing better on their home turf, and they've been performing better in the Arc itself. See Ace Impact last year, for example. As I said earlier, it is a bit of an underwhelming renewal this year. I know I pick holes in most races and I want to see the best against the best, but just look at the winners of the big races that are not represented in the Arc this weekend. Irish Champion, Juddmonte, Derby, Oaks, Irish Oaks, King George, etc. Now, there might be good reason that the winners of those races aren't coming to Paris. They might be geldings, like the King George winner. There might be City of Troy, who's won 2 of those races, who's going over to the Breeders' Cup. Hats off to him for doing so. Or there might be Economics, who won the Irish Champion and he's going to the British champion next. Now, there's reasons for that, yes, but we have seen better renewals, in my opinion, in recent years. Way back on June the 6th, I put up Continuous at 33-1. He's done very little since to suggest he's up to winning the Arc, but at least there's an intended runner at this stage, and he's a similar price. Yes, I'm clutching at straws. But yeah, the anti-post selections from me on races now haven't gone well this year. So yeah, I'm clutching onto Continuous that he is winning, he is running, but he's not done very much this season. Let's be honest. He was 5th in the Arc last year. He did win the St. Leger last year. He's not got anywhere near to replicating that form since, unfortunately for me. He was 3rd in the Foy. Again, one of those trials on trials day, but that doesn't look good enough. He's going to have to take a massive leap forward to get anywhere near winning this. But like I say, a good 5th in this last year, an open year. I mean, let's try and see if we can pinch a bit of money. But yeah, I'm clutching at straws with that one. One who I can see going off a lot shorter than he is now on this Monday evening is Zarakem. Now, I'm pretty much going off one piece of form and hoping it can be replicated on the biggest race and the biggest stage of the year with this Zarakem. But it's a very open year, as we've discussed. And Zarakem ran a massive race in the Prince of Wales's at Royal Ascot earlier this summer, 2nd behind Auguste Rodin, who we've mentioned. That was on quick ground. He's also won on French heavy ground this season. He was in front of Horizon D'Or, Alflela, Royal Rhyme, Inspiral, Blue Rose Senna, Ascot. Now, we could pick holes in all of those horses, but they are pretty good yardsticks. It was in a Group 1. It was at the top table, and he was getting closer actually at the line to Auguste Rodin as well. So Zarakem at the moment is 66-1 each way, 3 places. I thought that was worth playing. Yes, I'm playing before the draw, and yes, I'm playing before final decks, but I'm pretty sure he's an intended runner. And the reason for playing him at this stage is that I can see that price. I can see people cottoning onto him, looking down the form like I have done today and thinking, well, he's right up there on ratings. It might just be on that one performance at Royal Ascot, but he's done it. It was there for us to see. And if he can get close to that again, he could go close to grabbing some place money or even causing a shock in the Arc. Like I say, he gets the trip. He'll get any type of ground. He's already proven that this season. And, you know, you have got to put a bit of a line through York. You'll have to forgive his effort there. He had a wide draw. He had no cover. That was no good for him, and he didn't run very well there. But according to connections, he's likely to be wearing a hood on Sunday and be ridden cold. He was ridden cold in the Prince of Wales's at Royal Ascot, ridden out the back. He might do that again, or hopefully he'll do that again this weekend at Longchamp, which means that the draw would be less important to a hold-up horse, as they can just get some cover out the back. And hopefully, as the pace falls back to him in the straight and they go a bit nuts early, they go a bit too quick, Zarakem might be one of those that can pick up some pieces. Now, it's not usually a strategy that wins you an arc, but we have seen it a few times, horses running into a place from way off the pace as those horses come back to them in the straight. So, yeah, fingers crossed, Zarakem can do me some business. And I'm going to need a lot of luck because I'm miles behind SD, but it's not for the want of trying. We're going to have everything covered on Races Now this week. We've got Hump, the French expert, coming back later in the week on Thursday. He's flying out to Paris on Friday. We're going to have SD on Thursday, as he usually is. And yeah, plenty to look forward to. All sorts of Group 1s coming up on Races Now and racing generally. And then we might even look forward to the jump season. But I'm going to need some help from the likes of SD for that. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll be back soon here on Races Now.